In this video I'm going to show you a set of must-know power chord shapes which are used by probably every rock and metal band on the planet, so stay tuned. Hey there, this is James for James Shipway Guitar and welcome to my second video on power chords. Now if you want to get your hands on my power chord guide with tab, chord boxes and everything to all my power chord videos, then simply click the link underneath this video and I'll send you a copy of that. Okay, let's dive in and have a look at the chord shapes that we're going to study in this lesson. First I'm going to show you the shape and then we're going to look at moving it around. So I'm going to show you how to play an F5 chord using this chord shape. So we're going to play the first fret on the E string and I'm going to use my first finger for that. And I'm going to play the A string and the D string at the third fret. Now I like to use my third and my little finger for that, like so. Now that stretch can take a tiny bit of getting used to if you haven't seen these before. Maybe if that's the case, start playing them a little bit higher up the neck where the stretch isn't quite so big, and that may make it a bit more manageable. Now some people like to flatten one finger down like this. That can work too, so use whatever you're most comfortable with. But when you watch me do it, I will be using my first finger and my third finger and my little finger. So that's our basic power chord shape that we're going to work with in this lesson. One thing before we move on, this first finger wants to be lying slightly flat across these other strings. We don't want to bar them, we don't want that, we just want to mute them. So that if we hit them with a pick, we don't really hear them, they don't interfere with the sound of the chord. So that's our basic chord shape, and that's an F5 chord. Now we can move that up and down the neck to get any other power chord we might need. So let's have a look at how this works. And the basic idea is this first finger note is what we call our root note. So as we move it up the neck, that note is going to change. And whatever note that becomes, that's the chord we get. So the reason it's an F5 chord is because this first finger note is an F note, giving us F5. If we move it up to the third fret, that note becomes a G. We get G5. And so on. At the fifth fret, we get A5. At the seventh fret, we get B5. At the 8th fret, we get C5. At the 10th fret, we get D5. And at the 12th fret, we get E5. So that root note business is really essential. Get as familiar as you can with that. You'll never regret it, and it will help you to really expand your playing in all sorts of different ways. Really essential that you learn those and know what the chord becomes when you move it to a different fret. Now one little variation on that shape that you'll sometimes see is where we take, in my case, take my little finger off and I just play the E string and the A string. So I'm going to sort of do this kind of bad bar across here to mute these other strings. Press down the E and the A string and my little finger just doesn't do anything. So that's a 2-string version of that shape I just showed you. Now we can move those around the neck in the same way. We'd have F5 at the first fret, G5, A5, B5 at the 7th, C5 at the 8th, D5 at the 10th, and E5 at the 12th. Now you might wonder how come those chords are the same name when the shape's different. It's simply that on the 3-string chord, I'm doubling one of the notes. I'm doubling the note on the E string. It's being played again. So when we miss that out, we're not actually leaving out a note out of the chord. We're just not playing it twice, okay? So each note's just played once. Because the notes are the same, the chord is the same. So you've got 2 sort of power chord shapes there which you can use, and you'll see these used in all the riffs that you might learn by bands like Metallica, Black Sabbath, Guns N' Roses, I mean all those kind of guys, okay? So look out for them being used in some of those songs. Now also don't forget your sharps and flats because you'll need them. Now if we start on F again, I'm going to use the first shape. If we move up a fret from F, we get F sharp 5, also called G flat 5. So the second fret is F sharp 5 or G flat 5. At the 4th fret, we get G sharp 5 or A flat 5. At the 6th fret, we get A sharp 5 or B flat 5. B and C are at the 7th and 8th fret. At the 9th fret we get C sharp 5 or D flat 5. And at the 11th fret we get D sharp 5 or E flat 5. Now you might see either one of those names. In one song it might be called B flat 5, in another it might be called A sharp 5. You know, it kind of depends on the context. Okay, I put together a really short and simple power chord exercise for you, just to get you used to moving these chords around and using them, getting used to the sound of them. So let's have a listen to that. I'll play it through for you. Okay, not going to win any prizes for originality, that it's just a simple exercise to get you used to these. Now let's look at how we play that. We're starting off with the A5 chord at the 5th fret. Now I'm using the 3-string chord shape here, that's what I'm going to use. You could use the other one if you prefer, but I'm going to demonstrate it with this one. And we're palm muting. Now for this, we just want to lightly rest our right hand on the bass strings. It's a very soft touch. Don't press too hard or you'll really mess up the sound of your chord, okay? Very light touch. And we're just going to use all down picks and we're just going to chug on that chord like this. Okay, so you can hear without the palm muting, there's a lot more ring to it. It's almost a bit out of control. This just tightens them up and sort of controls the punch of them, makes them sound better. So that's what we're doing on the A5 chord, and we're doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we move it up to the 8th fret to get C5 and do the same thing. Then we're going to move it down to the 1st fret where it becomes F5, and we're going to do it just for 2 beats there. So 1, 2, move it up to G at the 3rd, and do 2 beats on that. So let me just run those 3 bars for you together before we look at the final bar. And again, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4th bar, we're going to hit the G, move it up to A and hit it again. So that's the rhythm on that. On the last chord, I'm taking off my palm muting too because I actually want it to ring out. I don't want it to be... You hear my palm muting kills it off. So on that one, I'm releasing my palm muting a little bit to let the chords breathe a bit more. All this stuff just becomes second nature very quickly and will feel quite natural when you get used to using power chords and playing this kind of music. So if it's a bit strange now, just persevere because you will get it, and it isn't that tough. It's just a little knack you get really from using it. Anyway, let's have a listen to that whole exercise joined up. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there you go. Power chord shapes with the root on the E string and how to use one shape to play any power chord there is. Pretty powerful stuff this in terms of the amount of chords you can play with just one thing. So that's all for me today really. Don't forget your power chord guide if you want the chord boxes for this lesson and my other power chord lessons. Click the link under this video. Other than that, if you found the video useful, please hit like, please subscribe to my channel, and if you've got any comments or questions, then leave them under here because I do check every single one of my comments and I try to reply to as many of them as I possibly can. So that's all for me today. I hope to see you again very soon in another one of my power chord videos. So take care till then, and I'll see you later. So look out for my other power chord videos coming up on YouTube very soon if they're not up already. And until next. So anyway, so that's all for me today. Thanks a lot for watching. Look out for my other power chord videos coming up very soon on my YouTube channel if they're not up there already. And I hope to see you again very soon in one of those. So take a lot of care. So that's all for me today. Thanks a lot for watching. I really hope you found this useful.